When my family and I started out on our journey to a whole foods plant-based lifestyle, we crowded out the meat, seafood, dairy, and eggs from our Create plate. We ate more whole foods, fewer processed foods, and our health improved dramatically. One of the confusing areas, though, was supplements, and that's because we were using our animal foods thinking. During my junk food and meat eating days, I took a multivitamin to make up for the junk, vitamin C and zinc when I was sick, probiotics for my stomach pain, a fish oil capsule to prevent heart disease, sometimes even a B complex. When you're eating plant-based, the plants can provide most of the nutrition you need with just a few added supplements. In this video, I'll go over the 4 strategies we use to sort out which nutrients we could consume as whole plant foods versus supplements and how much we needed. Then apply those strategies to calcium, iodine, vitamin D, and vitamin B12. Let's take a look at those 4 strategies. Strategy number 1. A whole foods plant-based lifestyle is the goal. Dr. T. Colin Campbell writes in the China study, because nutrition operates as an infinitely complex biochemical system involving thousands of chemicals and thousands of effects on our health, it makes little or no sense that isolated nutrients taken as supplements can substitute for whole foods. Consider vitamin C. We all know that vitamin C is important. Our bodies don't produce it. I could just as easily take a vitamin C capsule instead of eating an apple. Dr. Campbell talks about research on vitamin C in apples in his book Whole. When you chemically analyze 100 grams, about half a cup of whole apple, you'll find about 5.7 milligrams of vitamin C. Researchers found the same 100 grams of fresh apple had an antioxidant vitamin C-like activity equivalent to 1,500 milligrams of vitamin C. They then found a long list of chemicals and antioxidants in the apple that was 263 times as potent as the same amount of the isolated chemical. Food is the first half of this strategy, and lifestyle is the second. I talk about Principle 8, Move More, in the 10 Principles for a Whole Foods Plant-Based Lifestyle video. Movement and exercise also impact our health. Even sunlight can impact our health, and in the case of vitamin D, cause our bodies to make it. Strategy 2, progress over perfection. We don't obsess over numbers or the perfect diet. We realize that some days we might have to eat more processed foods than we'd like because that is what is available. We simply start again the next day, striving for the ideal of achieving all 10 principles of 74-10 style, but accepting that we may not be able to. Strategy 3. Supplement to prevent deficiencies, not to prevent chronic disease. Supplements are not the best way to get nutrition, and they do not prevent heart disease or any of the other chronic diseases. Also, there's still so much that is unknown about all the chemical processes and interactions with foods and our bodies, so we would like to maximize whole plant foods and minimize supplements. Strategy 4. Work with your doctor. I won't address this strategy when I talk about calcium, iodine, vitamin B12, and vitamin D, but recognize that this is the best way to determine the amount your body needs. For example, those with existing deficiencies or problems with absorption may need higher doses. Medications could interfere with the supplements, or the supplements could interfere with the medications. Your doctor can test blood levels or advise on dosage and interactions with other medications. All right, 4 strategies. Let's apply the first 3 to calcium. Bone growth and maintenance processes are extremely complex. In the China study solution, Dr. Thomas Campbell writes, they involve hormone systems like your parathyroid hormone system, other macronutrients like protein, many other micronutrients like sodium, vitamins D and K, exercise, and kidney function. So already you can see that simply popping calcium supplements is not going to be the best solution. Starting with strategy 1, a whole foods plant-based lifestyle is the goal. The first question is, can I get the calcium I need through food and/or lifestyle? Definitely yes. All whole plants have some calcium, but certain greens have a lot of calcium. We'll take a look at some of them in a minute. But strong bones and reducing the likelihood of fractures requires exercise too. Harvard Health reports, exercise reduces your risk not only of falling, but also of fracturing a bone if you do fall. An analysis published in BMJ found that programs of balance, strength, and resistance training reduce the odds of falls resulting in fractures by more than 60%. In the case of strategy 2, progress over perfection, sometimes it's not always possible to eat all whole plant foods on a given day. You may be traveling and have to eat out. Non-dairy milks are highly fortified with calcium and can be part of your backup plan. Our almond milk has 450 milligrams of calcium. Considering strategy 3, supplement to prevent deficiencies, Dr. Thomas Campbell recommends at least 500 milligrams of calcium daily from a whole foods plant-based diet. Out of curiosity, I added up the amount of calcium in our breakfast and lunch. This table shows the amount of calcium for different foods based on the USDA's Food Data Central's values, to give us a total of about 557 milligrams of calcium. It's interesting that a cup of kale has 63.5 milligrams of calcium, and even more surprising that about 2 tablespoons of chia seeds has 56.8 milligrams. So we can get plenty of calcium with whole plant foods and exercise. For iodine, on the other hand, we found that a supplement made the most sense for us. The body needs iodine to make thyroid hormones. These hormones control the body's metabolism and many other important functions. Starting with strategy 1, a whole foods plant-based lifestyle is the goal. The first question is, can I get the iodine I need through food and/or lifestyle? Definitely yes. Plant sources of iodine include fruits and vegetables grown in iodine-rich soil, navy beans, peanuts, potatoes with peels, and seaweed. However, for us, determining whether or not a vegetable was grown in iodine-rich soil or figuring out how much iodine was in a particular type of seaweed was a little too difficult. An example is kombu seaweed that can contain an excessive amount, up to 8,000 micrograms of iodine per gram. So in the case of strategy 2, progress over perfection, we found that taking a vegan-friendly iodine supplement every day was not ideal, but could eliminate the guesswork and reassure us that we weren't taking too little or too much. Considering strategy 3, supplement to prevent deficiencies, based on many plant-based doctors and researchers' recommendations, along with the National Institutes of Health Office of Dietary Supplements, the recommended daily allowance is 150 micrograms for adults. It was easy for us to figure out that iodine supplements made the most sense for us. Vitamin D was a little trickier. We knew that vitamin D was important, whether we were eating an animal-based diet or a plant-based diet. Vitamin D is probably most well known for its importance to bone health, but there is increasing evidence that vitamin D is important for asthma, heart failure, and autoimmune diseases such as multiple sclerosis and inflammatory bowel disease. Starting with strategy 1, a whole foods plant-based lifestyle is the goal. The first question is, can I get the vitamin D I need through food and/or lifestyle? There are very few foods, especially whole plant foods, that naturally contain vitamin D. So the next question is about a lifestyle change. As it turns out, your body can make vitamin D when your bare skin is exposed to the sun. In Becoming Vegan, Brenda Davis and Melina Vestas write about people living near the equator and consistently exposed to sunlight throughout the year that do not need a supplement. However, the farther away you live from the equator, the more sunlight is limited during winter months and an alternate source becomes necessary. So yes, a lifestyle change would work for me for most of the year. The added bonus is that there is increasing evidence that the sun provides a lot more than vitamin D. In the case of strategy 2, progress over perfection, I accept that we spend most of our time indoors. It's not natural or ideal. For my family and me, a supplement is necessary, especially for the winter months and until we spend more time outside. My goal is to stop taking a supplement during the spring, summer, and fall months, but I'm not there yet. Considering strategy 3, supplements to prevent deficiencies, in How Not to Die, Dr. Michael Greger recommends 1 2,000 IU vitamin D3 supplement each day with your largest meal of the day if you can't get enough sun. Take a look here at nutritionfacts.org's Optimum Nutrient Recommendations page. Dr. Greger breaks down when a supplemental vitamin D is necessary and when you can get enough sun by latitude. Between 30 degrees and 40 degrees north latitude, he recommends a supplement from December through January. No one is saying to go sunbathing for hours without sunblock in the middle of the day. Just carefully control how much midday sun you do get. Then use sunblock, shade, hats, and clothing to prevent burning once you've gotten your 15 to 30 minutes of midday sun. Check out MedCram's Sunlight Optimize Health and Immunity video. Dr. Roger Schwelt covers the many benefits of sunlight, especially from the visible spectrum and near-infrared radiation, and practical tips for optimizing your time outdoors. We use a hybrid approach of supplement and sunshine for vitamin D. For vitamin B12, it's pretty straightforward. Vitamin B12 is critical to those who eat animal-based or plant-based. It may take years for a deficiency to show, but when it does, it could result in paralysis, psychosis, blindness, and even death. Starting with strategy 1, a whole foods plant-based lifestyle is the goal. The first question is, can I get the vitamin B12 I need through food and/or lifestyle? Actually, B12 is not made by the animals themselves, but by bacteria in soil and water. Dr. Shireen Kassam and Dr. Zara Kassam write in Eating Plant-Based, traditionally, human and non-human animals got vitamin B12 from eating plants and water contaminated by B12 producing bacteria. With changes to food hygiene and water sanitation, plants and water no longer provide vitamin B12. So no, there are no whole plant foods that provide vitamin B12. Considering strategy 3, supplement to prevent deficiencies, the National Institutes of Health Office of Dietary Supplements lists 2.4 micrograms as the recommended amount for adults. In this article, Dr. Thomas Campbell writes, recently there's been some evidence that large dose B12 supplementation may be associated with an increase in cancer risk in some groups. Because of the difficulty in finding low-dose B12 supplements, he recommends a multivitamin because they tend to have much lower doses of B12. Our son was able to find vegetarian multivitamin gummies with 3 micrograms of B12. Let's wrap this up. For calcium, we eat at least 500 milligrams of whole plant foods. If needed, fortified non-dairy milks like almond milk can provide a lot of calcium. For iodine, we take a 150 microgram supplement. For vitamin D, we take a 2000 IU supplement and are working on increasing our time in the sun. For vitamin B12, we found a low dose in a vegetarian multivitamin. By fueling our bodies with whole plant-based foods and just a few supplements, our bodies can maximize our nutrition, using, interacting, and making the chemicals it needs when it's needed. The 10 principles of 74-10 style provide a holistic, whole foods, plant-based framework designed to give my family and me a sense of well-being, both physical and mental, the energy to do the things we would like to do, and feeling a joy for life. Spend more time outdoors and remember to take it one day at a time until it's 7 days a week, forever 10.